Welcome to Soulful Sunday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live on YouTube. Moderating today are the lovely Honeypaw, the lovely Heather, and the lovely I Am Her Eminence. Thank you so much, moderators, and thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. If you'd like to become a part of our community, you can join us on our Discord server or our private Facebook group, and you can find links to those and all the rest of our social media on the headers and footers of each and every page of our website, which is located at arielscorner.com, arielscorner.com. While you're there, check out all of the stuff that we have for you. We have free courses, free booklets, free lectures, free guided meditations, and all kinds of other cool stuff. We also have a podcast hub, and that's located at arielspodcasts.com, arielspodcasts.com, along with our shop, which you can find at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. If you'd like to donate to this stream, you can do that by using the donate button right on the footer of our website, or you could use a super sticker, super chat, or super thanks right on the YouTube channel. Or if you prefer PayPal, you can go to paypal.me/arielgatoga, paypal.me/arielgatoga. We do appreciate your support, and we really appreciate you being here. We have a chat thread open, so please chat amongst yourselves. And if you have a question for me, you can put it right in that chat thread. And I should be able to get to everything today because I don't work as early as I normally do on Sundays. So if we have questions, you can put them right in there. And I guess that did it. Let's get started. If you are in a place where it is safe and appropriate for you, please close your eyes and begin to take some nice, long, slow, deep, relaxing breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. With every inhale, feel more light and more peace entering your body and your mind. With each exhale, let go of all the tension in your body, along with anything in your mind you do not want. Inhaling peace, exhaling as you let go. We picture ourselves on top of a beautiful mountain in the center of a circular grove of trees. In the center of our circle, a bonfire blazes forth, and it lights us and the grove with a sacred golden light. We recognize that this is the light of perfect love and perfect trust, and it easily and efficiently burns away everything unlike itself, leaving us safe and serene. Into this space, we invoke the presence of our Creator. To many of us, our Creator reveals themselves to be a mother and father, a goddess and God. We call upon our angels, our guides, our teachers. We ask that we be guided as we walk upon the way, helping us to become happier, safer, wiser, more peaceful, and more loving people. Blessed be. In this world, it looks like there are opposites. And in fact, the opposites that are apparent in this world either work together, such as in the case of a battery or a magnet, or they work against each other. And the idea is to understand that the opposites that seem to work together are appearing as opposite in this world because that's our perception here. We have a perception of duality. We have a perception of separation. So in effect, the opposites that are working together, such as God and Goddess, light and dark, etc., they're there to support us and ultimately to show us their unreality, that there is no separation, there is no opposition, there is no duality. The opposition that we experience in the world that is conflict, that is conflict, and by nature at odds with one another, is illusory by nature. And our job here is to live in this world without being snowed by this world, to live in this world without falling asleep to the apparent duality within this world. And on one hand, the duality can work to our benefit when we understand that it's not real. But the duality doesn't tend to work for our benefit for the most part, because we do believe it's real, and we tend to be in conflict. We tend to be in conflict more than not here. And that's why the world that we see and the world that we experience is painful. And that's why in Buddhism, their first precept is that all life is suffering. Well, all life is suffering in this world because this world is a world that doesn't exist. But beyond this world, there is a world that does exist. And it's not beyond this world in another time or even in another place. It's beyond this world in that it's another decision. It's another choice that we have to make. And we can choose which world we want to inhabit at any moment. And we can't do both at the same time. You can't be in conflict and peace at the same time. And because of this world of opposites, we believe in spectra. We believe in levels. We believe in degrees. And those also can work to our benefit when we realize that they are not real. In other words, we can paint with all the different colors of the rainbow, but we have to understand that light itself is not refractable. Ultimately, that's an illusion. It's an illusion that there's these different colors. And we can use those colors to our benefit so that we can see the beauty of the light in a way that we understand. So when we understand that the separation and the duality and the different levels that we experience in this world are not real, we can use those things to our own benefit. It is said that your guide can use anything in the illusory world for your benefit. It can use anything to lead you into the understanding of its unreality. So it's not that you have to turn your back on the world, abandon the world, and become a monk or something in order to find the release from the suffering in this world. But we do have to allow our inner guide to use the world in a new way. And we have to stop thinking that we can teach ourselves how to do that. That's where we get stuck, is we have learned all kinds of lessons in this world, and therefore we believe we know how things are, and we think we know how things work. And so when we are coming from a false premise, we are going to always get a false conclusion. And that's why the world seems to get worse, not better. But if we are willing and able to understand that we don't understand, if we are able to understand that we don't understand, then our minds open up enough that our inner guide can use the world of duality, use the world of illusions to lead us into the perception of the truth, of the reality. And when we do that, our sight opens up, our third eye opens up, and we start seeing the world as it really is, and those illusions fall away. And once the illusions start to fall away, it's not that we just disappear. It's not that things stop happening. It's that we realize the world's unreality and we are no longer controlled by it, and the suffering disappears. But until the suffering disappears for everybody, it's not really done. We haven't really achieved what we want to achieve. So this is why once we are on a spiritual path, we have to understand that it's a powerful point of view to see that we were sent here in order to be helpful. We were sent here to help. And when we help, we are helped. When we heal, we are healed. When we enlighten, we are enlightened. But we can't do it in a vacuum. We want to. We want to walk the path and do our thing and become magi. We want to become adept and do it in a vacuum. And too bad for the rest of you. And it can't work that way. It can't work that way. But it also can't work that you think that you know what it's supposed to look like to help, because you still are under the illusions of this world. You're still under these false lessons that you've been taught. The only way that we can be truly helpful is by understanding we don't know how to be truly helpful. And once we recognize that we don't know how to be truly helpful, we become as little children. We become blank slates. We become an empty rice bowl. And once we allow ourselves to become a blank slate, then we can begin to be taught. And then what we are asked to do is be present in the moment, each moment, not worry about what our lessons are tomorrow, not worry about what we learned yesterday, but be in the moment and be willing to be that clean slate, be like that little child, and ask, how can I be most helpful? Being helpful is not the same as doing good. Being a do-gooder is something that comes from the ego, and it comes from the idea of arrogance, that you, based on all of the things you know, based on all of the things that you've learned about the world, you figured it out and you know what people need. I know what you need. I'm going to give you some advice. I know what they need. I'm going to do something for them. And although that comes from a nice place, it's usually interference. It's usually not doing the good that you want to be doing. In order to be truly helpful in this world, it's important that we eschew all of our preconceived notions about what being helpful is supposed to look like. Just one moment, please. I'm about to lose power here. That's better. Once we can start to understand that we don't know, we are in a place of power. And it's a good exercise. At any given time, you could even, if you don't remember to do this, you could set your alarm for maybe 5-6 times a day. When the alarm goes off, just look around and say, I don't know what anything is. I don't know. I do not understand a thing. I don't know what any of it means. I don't know what the purpose of anything is. All I see are projections based on past faulty learning. And what I want instead is to be taught. I want to see the truth. And just that small little bit of openness, that small little bit of understanding is enough for you to call upon that inner guide to show you. And it's that regular understanding, that regular confession of that we don't know what anything means. We don't know what anything is. We don't know the purpose of anything, for anything. We don't know the purpose for anything. Even if we think we do, well, of course I know the purpose of that. That's a piano. That's to play music. I know what that is. That's a pen. It's to write things. I know what that is. It's a computer screen. It's to see what's on my computer. Of course I know what things are, what things are for. But see, our limited minds don't understand that, yeah, the pen is for writing things, but our limited minds don't understand why we would want to write to somebody. Our limited minds don't understand what we would want to learn from that computer. Our limited minds don't understand what we want to play that music, what the purpose of playing that music is. We think we do, but we don't. And it's an empowering, liberating understanding that I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. then we can be in a place where we are truly helpful, because there is no separation. There is no duality in that moment. All of that duality is reconciled. And the apparent duality that we see in the world is then utilized for our benefit. And the inner guide can show us what its purpose is here and now in this moment. But if you already think you know everything, if you already think you understand everything, then there's no place for you to learn. You're not in a learning frame of mind. And in this particular time on our planet, it's much more powerful for us to pull away from the fray, to pull away from what everybody says they know. I know what's happening. I see it on my television. I see it on YouTube. I know what's happening. And this is what we have to do. Well, maybe they're right, and maybe they're not. They could be right. They could not be right. But what we do know is that we don't know. And what we do know is that there is a force within us that does know, that's infinite intelligence. And it's not separate from us, but it does live outside of the faulty lessons that we have been learning all of our lives. So in this time on this planet, the people that are willing to say, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to help, and I don't know what any of it is, are much better used to the Spirit to bring healing where it's needed. And we understand that when we start to allow ourselves to be taught how to heal, it's not because that way our egos get gratified and set to be able to say, look at me, I'm such a powerful healer. It's that we can then be healed. We heal in order to be healed. We give in order to receive. And that's what the ego mind likes to do with that, is say, well, that's selfish. You're not supposed to give to get. And you'll be interested to notice that your inner guide will defy that. Your inner guide will most likely say, yes, you do give to get. You do forgive to be forgiven. Everything you do must be done out of self-interest, otherwise it's not real. The idea from the ego, the premise from the ego that, oh, you can't give in order to receive, that's selfish, is coming from the assumption that you are separate from the person you're giving to. And so it's reinforcing that separation by letting you think you're being so altruistic and so giving. When in reality, if you understand, I'm giving so that I can receive. I'm healing so that I can be healed. I'm enlightening so that I can be enlightened. Then you understand it is self-interest. And the reason why is because there is no separation between the giver and the receiver. Of course you both benefit, because there is nothing that's separate about you. There is something unique about each of you, but you're both part of the same mind. You're both part of the same holy child of the infinite. And so it becomes very apparent how subtle and sly the ego mind can be in order to keep up the illusion of separation. Because when we start to come from the perspective that we don't know anything, and we're not then we no longer listen to the ego, because we don't know anything. The only thing that the ego can teach you is everything that you've learned. But if you say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn, the ego has nothing to offer you, because that puts you right in the present moment where the ego cannot exist. The ego mind is not an entity, and it's nothing to be afraid of. There is nothing outside of you. It's something each of us made up in order to keep up this illusion here. It's an addictive part of our mind. We are addicted to the misery, we are addicted to the chaos, we're addicted to the separation, and we're addicted to the so-called gifts that the ego can give us. We're addicted to its lusts, we're addicted to its hungers, we're addicted to its revenge. We're addicted to all of that stuff. And the only way to handle an addiction is cold turkey. And so every few times a day, if you can cold turkey, just say, I don't know what any of it means. I don't understand one little thing. The inner guide can say, oh, good, now we can start. Now we can start. And that's one of the greatest uses of meditation. A lot of people like to meditate, but they don't understand what it's for. They don't understand the purpose of it. The purpose of meditation is to empty your mind so that you can be taught, so that you can understand that there's an entire world going on that is based in reality and truth, that is outside the purview of what you see, because the only thing you see, and when I say you, I mean all of us collectively, but saying it in the second person has a different kind of impact than saying we. So I'm not saying you do this and I don't. But the reason why you do that is because you're preoccupied with your own projections onto the screen of space. And it's a big time waster, because what happens is the storyline on the screen of space, if you just look in history, never gets better. It always gets worse. It never gets kinder. It always gets more cruel. It never gets smarter. It always seems to get more stupid. Now, it's true that the technology increases, the ingenious power of our minds that we use against ourselves, those things increase, but our ability to use them for loving purposes seems to decrease over time. And that's just the nature of the ego. The ego's whole game is self-destruction. That's what it's there for. It's what we've all been addicted to this whole time, is self-destruction. Lifetime after lifetime of it. And the good news is that it's not happening. None of that's happening. It's only happening within this world of an illusion. But the bad news is this world of illusion is very real to us in these bodies, in this time-space continuum. And it hurts. And it's scary. And people go hungry. And people die. And people get tortured. And people get abused. So trying to figure out the illusion and say, I know what to do about child abuse. I know what to do about hunger. I know what to do about this, that, or the other thing, without first saying, I don't know, puts us in a place where we think we're helping, but we're actually making it worse. We're actually making it more real. We're actually digging our heels into the illusion more. But when we're willing and able to say, I don't know, then we're coming into what we used to call, back in the old days, I don't know that they use this phrase so much, but when we would cast a magic circle back in the day, we would say we are in a time that is not a time, in a place that is not a place, between the worlds and beyond. And that would be our affirmation that the circle had been cast. Some groups still may use that, but it's a wonderful thought, because we want to be in a time that is not a time, in a place that is not a place. We want to be between the worlds because we want to see the real world. And when we're in that time that is not a time, and in that place that is not a place, we're in a place where we don't know. We're in a place of wonderment where we don't know what anything means. We are like little children. We are as little children. And that's a good place to be, because we are recognizing our innocence and we are recognizing our willingness to learn. And what we learn is that there are no degrees in the real world. There are no spectra. There are no differences. And therefore, the problems that seem impossible to solve in the physical world, both personal and collective, are no more difficult than the easy ones. It's no more challenging for the infinite to clean a stain from your carpet than to heal world hunger. There's no difference. It's all the same. It's all part of just an illusion. But when the illusion starts to reflect the truth of the Spirit, then the world changes. And so when we understand that there's no degrees, nothing's challenging and difficult for Spirit, but Spirit doesn't attack by nature. And so if we are doubling down on, I know what this is, I know what things mean, I know what to do, Spirit's not going to come in and say, no, you don't, you can't, no, I'm in charge now, we're fixing this. That would be an attack. That's akin to an attack. Spirit instead gives us all of the birth necessary, all of the space necessary for us to make as many mistakes and go into the dream for as long as we want to, as long as we choose to. And it's not until we say, wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong. What if I'm wrong about every single thing I ever thought? What if I've been wrong about the entire world? What if we've all been wrong this whole time? And then we allow ourselves to say, I don't know. Please show me. Please help me. Well, then that's given us it's given Spirit the permission and the invitation to teach us. And then we have to be willing to learn. And just think about learning. Let's go back to the piano. If you taught yourself how to play the piano, and you've been playing the piano that way for years and years and years, it might be wonderful. But let's say that you decided, yeah, but I want to really learn how to play classical music. I really want to learn how to play classical music. Your teacher is going to have to help you unlearn all the habits that you've been teaching yourself for all those years. And it can be done, but it has to be done through repetition. And it has to be done in the presence of one who knows. You can't teach yourself the technique necessary to play those pieces of classical music because you don't understand it. No one's ever shown it to you before. So you need to be in the presence of an expert who can correct you again and again and again. And once you're in a place where you can somewhat be trusted to practice correctly, then you practice over and over again. People say practice makes perfect, but it doesn't. Practice makes permanent. Only perfect practice makes perfect. So if you're understanding that you've been poorly taught, that means that your abilities to create reality have been misused for at least your entire life, if not longer. So how are you supposed to teach yourself how to do it differently when you don't know? And the only way for you to establish a new pattern is through the same kind of repetition you've been giving this faulty sense of reality all this time. You have to be just as vigilant for the truth as you have been being for the illusion. So this is why it's important to understand that the only way to help yourself is to help other people. And the only way to help other people is so that you can help yourself. This is very different than the way that we've been taught. This is very, very different. It's really not difficult, though. It's not hard. It's not challenging. The only challenge there is that we have to let go of old habits of thinking. But that's why we have an inner guide. And how do you know that you're listening to your inner guide? By how you feel, by your mood. If you're having a horrible mood, it's not that you're bad, and it's not that you should change your mood even, but it's an indicator to you that you're listening to the part of your mind that's creating the problem. And it's just an alarm. It's just an alarm that helps you to say, oh, let me go back and remind myself I don't understand anything. I must be trying to do something on purpose here. I have a horrible emotional experience right now. I don't want this. I know I don't want this, but I don't know how to get what I want. I don't know how to be at peace. I don't know how to change this, but I'm willing to learn. That willingness in and of itself gives an opening for Spirit to start to show you. As soon as Spirit starts to show you, then your mood changes and you feel better. Once you start feeling better, you know you're on the right track. Once you're on the right track, that means that you're listening to that inner guidance rather than going off of based on rote. And that's what the ego is. That's all the ego is bad habits. It's not an entity. It's nothing to be afraid of. That's why when we talk about the demiurge, giving it a name, making it into like the old Gnostics did, giving it a proper name does us a disservice because it makes us think that there's this monolithic ego out there that has power over us when we don't need to think that way, because that's more illusion. What we need to understand is our ego is nothing more than bad habits. And we can undo bad habits. We can undo addictions. Yes, we can. But we have to do it cold turkey, and we have to want to do it. That's the trick right there, is wanting it. I want peace. I want truth. And sometimes the illusion has to get so unbearable that we proverbially fall to our knees. It's not that the Spirit needs you to fall to your knees. It's just that sometimes that's the only thing we know to do. And what that is a representation of when you fall to your knees is that I'm willing to see it differently. I'm willing to let go of my investment in the world as I want it to be, or as I believe it is. I'm willing to let go of my investment in all of my old habits of thinking. And the only way to do that is through repetition, over and over. I do not know. I do not know. The more you say, I do not know, the more knowledge you get. The more you say, I do not know, the more helpful you can truly be, and thus be helped. There is absolutely no dearth of opportunity for us to be giving, to be loving, in order to in order to receive and to be loved. There's all kinds of opportunities. But what the ego mind does, the habit that we've been into, is it separates people into, just like we separate things into colors, it separates people into types. These people really deserve my love. These people sort of deserve my love. These people, I'm kind of neutral on them. These people I don't like, and these people definitely don't deserve my love. In fact, they all can go to hell. And until we're willing to give up that habit of thinking, and we don't realize we're doing it most of the time, until we're willing to give up that habit of thinking, we are cutting ourselves off from the healing that we are so desperately wanting. We are cutting ourselves off from the relief, from the pain that we so desperately want to escape. And you won't see this until you are willing to empty your mind and say, I don't understand it. I'm not willing to base my perceptions on what I think I know anymore. I'm not willing to base my perceptions on the past any longer. And that'll last for a minute until the habit kicks in again. So it's something that you have to repeat. And that's why I say sometimes setting your alarm for a few times a day, just to remind yourself, oh yeah, I don't know what any of this is. I don't understand what it is. I'm living in a world of illusion. I forgot. I don't understand it. I'm willing to be shown. Please show me. Please help me. And then when you're more and more available for that type of thinking, and you, especially if you can dedicate maybe some time in the morning and possibly some time in the evening for meditation, where you can expand on that for a period of time in three-dimensional time and space, to expand that moment of I don't know, that moment of not knowing and being willing to be empty, over time, because things in this world take time, over time you build that new habit. And as you build that new habit, you get used to listening to that inner guidance. And no matter what is in front of you, you stop using the old habit of, I know what to do, and instead say, what do I do? And that little subtle difference makes all the difference in the world. Because oftentimes you'll get an understanding of the situation from your teacher that you would have never come up with mostly that you would have never come up with on your own. You do things in ways that you wouldn't have thought to do them. And it makes all the difference in the world. And see, what happens is as you heal, others heal. As others heal, you heal. And then the world starts to heal. And the cool thing about this is if you were to look in three-dimensional world and say, oh my gosh, there's no way we can heal this world. It's just like it's too late. But the good news is that Spirit doesn't have any of those rules. And Spirit doesn't need everybody to be awake at the same time in order for the work to get done. Spirit only needs you right now. All that matters is you. Your awakening. Your willingness. That's all that matters. It really only takes one of us. It only takes one of us to be awake for everybody to wake up. Because all minds are joined. People are constantly looking to scriptures and predictions and things like that to try to make sense of what's going on, and they're expecting things like raptures and second comings and all of that, when in reality none of that's necessary. None of that's even helpful. When you understand all that I need to do is know that I don't know, understand that I don't understand, and be willing to keep that sense of emptiness so that Spirit can fill me up. So that when I am in a situation that I normally would react to, I can have the forethought to say, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And that's a great way to start your day anyway. It's a great way to start your day if you're really interested in this, is to start your day with a meditation, and start your day when you come out of that meditation by saying, what am I supposed to do? What are we doing today, Spirit? What's today all about? And what that does is it puts you in that frame of mind so that you're ready as the encounters come your way to understand, whoa, this is not what I thought it was. This person that I just thought I was making a transaction with at the convenience store is actually a holy experience. It's an experience of healing. That person that I'm buying the food from at the restaurant, it's not just a nothing. It's a very holy moment. And every single interaction with anybody then has the potential and opportunity to heal the entire world. Because remember, you heal and you are healed. You give and you receive. There is no separation. Whatever you do to one, you're doing to everybody and ultimately to yourself. And that includes people you do not like. That includes people that you think are awful. That includes people who are abusive and murderous and bad. I'm not saying that you condone them. I'm not saying that you don't put them in jail. I'm not saying that you don't do what you need to do in the world. But what I am saying is that you don't understand the relationship that you have with those people until Spirit shows it to you, because it's like everything else in your life, based on an old habit that you no longer want. Any addict will tell you the only thing that they have to do is not use that day. Any alcoholic will tell you the only real thing I need to do today is not drink. And it's the same thing for everybody. The only thing I have to do today is not project based on what my assumptions are. The only thing I have to do today is look at every encounter as something that is new, that I don't understand, empty my mind, and allow my inner guide to show me. That's how we heal. And each encounter is different. Everybody's unique, and your guide knows what it's doing. No one can tell you what that's supposed to look like. It's nobody's job to tell you how you're supposed to interact with somebody, what you're supposed to say, do, any of it. Sometimes the most loving thing when you're listening to your inner guide, sometimes the most loving thing you can do in a relationship doesn't seem all that loving to the outside world, to the ego. No, you should just go ahead and let them abuse you because, love and forgiveness. But from the Spirit's point of view, sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes from the Spirit's point of view, it's like, no, shut that down. Say no. The way you can love them more is by having no physical proximity to them. The way that you can love them more and that they can be served is for you to put that restraining order out or you to press charges. I mean, there are definite differences in the way that love appears. And it's not for us to judge. We'll be shown, but we'll know it's right based on how we feel. We'll know it's right based on the results too that we get. When you listen to Spirit and you act on Spirit's advice, you're successful immediately. You're successful immediately. There's no lag time. You feel it. You feel it right away. I did the right thing. It's like choirs of angels are singing. Like, what is all that? Oh, I must have done the right thing, right? So don't prejudge is our bottom line. I can't prejudge what that person is, who that person is, what this encounter is supposed to look like. The ego wants everything to be same old, because that way everything can keep simmering into more horror and more horror and more horror. It just keeps rolling in the same direction of self-destruction. But the Spirit has us look at any situation with fresh eyes and say, I don't understand this. I did not know that this was what this was. Now what do I do? How do I respond to this? What's my highest thought here? Where do I go from here? How can I be most helpful here? And Spirit will show you. And Spirit will show you not just so that you can benefit other people. Spirit will show you so that you can benefit you. So that you can benefit you. And that's exactly the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be benefited. You're supposed to have your life work. You're supposed to feel good. You're supposed to live in a happy, beautiful world. All of those things are the Infinite's will for you. And if it's not working out that way, the trick is not to keep projecting the same images onto the screen of space and hoping that you'll get a new result. The trick is to say, maybe it could be different. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's another way. Maybe there's another way of seeing things, of acting, of being. Maybe I don't understand any of it, and that's a good thing. So, a good rule of thumb, whenever you're experiencing any emotion that's not peaceful, is to say, I don't understand it. I don't know what to do. I don't understand any of it. I'm not making up my mind. I want to be shown. I want to be like a little child. I want to empty my mind, and I want Spirit to show me. I want peace, not this. I want joy, not this. I want the truth, not this. And that request, that desire is holy and will always be answered, and Spirit's never late. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be. Oops, let's see if there's any questions here. I can't I gotta get my computer working again. Hold on just a moment. Come on, little. There you go. Okay. Okay. But being with Ariel and listening to his teachings have made my life 100% better. I'm blessed. Well, thank you very much for that. And remember that you're blessed regardless of me, but thank you for that. Thank you so much. That was very kind of you. Okay, those are very sweet comments. I appreciate those. Are there actual questions, though? Well, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you very, very much. And thank you so much to the amazing moderators. Today we had the lovely Honey Paw, the lovely Heather, and the lovely I Am Her Eminence. And we will see you all on Wednesday after our couple days off. And I think we'll probably do some color magic. Yes, thank you so much. Those are very kind. I appreciate you. And I love you very much too. I appreciate you. But we'll probably do some color magic this Wednesday. All right, thanks again, and we'll see you then. Much love and many blessings.